Thank you everyone for coming tonight. I'd like to take a moment to welcome everybody to the 2019 State of the City with Mayor Jason Pu. But before we get started, with our program, I wanted to thank the folks who put this on, because if any of you, which I'm sure you have done events like this, you know how much work it takes, and the crew has been working for weeks and then nonstop for the last couple days. So I'd like to thank Nancy Ramos, Marilyn Bonas, Judy Liu, Danielle Adriano, Kimber Gutierrez, and probably 6 others that I'm forgetting. But if we can give them all a warm round of applause, I'd appreciate it. And let's start with some introductions, and I'd like to introduce my bosses first. Starting with Vice Mayor Denise Menchaca. Councilwoman Julie Costanzo. Councilman John Harrington. And Councilman Chin-Ho Liao. I'd also like to point out Senator Rubio for taking the time to come out. Thank you very much. As well as Giselle Sorial from her office. And from Congresswoman Judy Chu's office, we have Cindy Lee. And then from Supervisor Barger's office, Christian Daly. And if I missed anybody, please forgive me. The next group I'd like to call the Friends of San Gabriel. These are folks that we see at every single event that play a bigger role than almost any of us do in the room. So I'd like to thank you all and have you stand up and be recognized. Michelle Frerich from AYC. Julie Sorensen from the LA County Public Library. Sandy Roscoe from the Chamber of Commerce. And I'd like to point out that Sandy uses more exclamation points in her emails than anybody I've ever met. Terry Huerta from the San Gabriel Mission. Jeanette Soriano from Southern California Edison. And then I saw a few commissioners here. If you can stand up and be recognized, I would appreciate it. All right, thank you all very much. And with that, I will turn it over to Mayor Jason Pu for the State of the City.
Oops. Probably good to have the presentation right side up. Well, you know what? Good evening, and thank you all so much for being here. It really is heartwarming to see so many people, friends here to support and to also learn about the state of the city and be civically engaged. And if staff and members, you want to have a seat, there's plenty of seats here. I welcome you to get comfortable. In preparing for this presentation, I had this opportunity to really review a lot of the things that we've accomplished over the last few years. And I'm really, really proud of our city, and I'm proud of what we've accomplished. I want to thank all of you, the members of the community, all of the staff, all of the elected officials. Senator Susan Rubio, it's amazing that you're here in person and spending time with us this evening, and the representatives from all the other offices. I'd also like to thank the members of the media who are here tonight. I want to personally thank our city manager, Mark Lazaretto, assistant city manager and community development director, Armin H. Haparayan, and public information officer, Jonathan Fu, for their hard work and helping to pull this presentation together. Already you can see, there are beautiful images, and none of this could be done without their hard work. Please give them a round of applause. And I also want to thank all the city staff who contributed to this presentation and their hard work every day that makes our accomplishments possible. I'll be actually highlighting some of those accomplishments and pointing out the key team members who make this all possible. And I think we really do have a lot to celebrate. So I'll be reviewing these accomplishments over the past few years under our strategic plan, and also providing a sneak peek of a few of our future projects. Throughout the presentation, I'll be weaving in the theme of telling our story. This ties in with the part of the vision statement, which you see here under the strategic plan, which we adopted in 2014. And I believe that I believe in this vision statement even more today than I did then. And it reads that the San Gabriel will be a premier city in the region. Building on its rich history, San Gabriel will stand out as a vibrant, inclusive, and inviting place to live, work, shop, and play. And I think that this idea of telling our story really ties in with the part of this vision statement that says, building on its rich history. When I became mayor again in March, I said in my inaugural address that I believe that the past and the future are not mutually exclusive. We just need to make sure we take care of both today and the future, in the present. And I believe that even more today than I did 6 months ago. What people want today, and what people have always wanted throughout time, is authenticity and originality. And those are things that our community has in spades. With the San Gabriel mission as the birthplace of the Los Angeles region and our many layers of history and culture, we have so many authentic and original stories to tell, and so much more to offer and share. So I believe we should do more to tell our story and celebrate everything that is the city of San Gabriel. In telling the story, I'll be using the framework of our strategic plan, which has 5 main initiative areas. And so we've broken them into chapters, which coincide with each of these areas. And I'll be talking about the accomplishments and how some of those accomplishments do tell our story. First, I wanted to review for everybody what is a strategic plan, since it's been a little while since we adopted it. In contrast to our general plan and our specific plans, which lay out the zoning and some of the overall goals of the community, the strategic plan is a specific step-by-step blueprint of how we will get from point A to point B. And each of the 5 initiative areas has specific projects with specific timetables, so we can focus our time, energy, and resources and keep track of our progress. As we complete some of those projects, we update the strategic plan so we can continue to move forward and make things better for the community. So as I mentioned, we'll be highlighting some of the accomplishments in each of these areas and then also taking a look at what's ahead. First up is infrastructure. And I want to thank and congratulate our new Public Works Director, Greg DeVink. Greg, are you here? He and the entire Public Works crew work hard every day, and they've accomplished a lot. I'll highlight our progress over the past few years in these 3 areas: rehabilitating streets, maintaining and upgrading sewers, and building bridges. Since 2014, approximately $19.4 million has been invested into street rehabilitation, which has rebuilt and maintained about 39 lane miles throughout the city. These include portions of major commercial corridors like the eastern quarter of Las Tunas Drive, the southern half of Del Mar Avenue, Mission Road to San Gabriel Boulevard, the southern half of San Gabriel Boulevard, and numerous smaller residential streets throughout the city. Here we see a map of the city that shows all of the street segments that we worked on by year since 2014. So you can see some of let's see if I can get the pointer to work here. Yeah, you can see some of this work was done by ACE as the haul route restoration. Other parts were done in conjunction with CDBG monies. Other parts there's numerous different funding sources that we utilize to make sure that we're trying to catch up on the decades of deferred maintenance that we all know that we have. So the next slide shows our pavement condition index. So pavement condition index, or PCI, is how we measure the condition of our streets. In conjunction with our pavement management plan, each street segment is assessed and given a number from 0 to 100, which measures its condition from bad to good. From this, we can extrapolate an overall PCI for the entire city and give ourselves an idea of how we're doing overall. So here we see the overall PCI since 2014 and how all the work we've been doing has improved it from 44 in 2014 to PCI 58, where it is today. And I think this number over here does not yet include the street segments that will be done later on this year. Is that correct, Greg? And, I think, for myself and other members of the council, we want to continue to improve, because even though 58 is much better than 44, it's still a long ways to go before you can say that your streets are good. And we'd like to be able to reach a PCI of 68 over the next 15 years. Next up, we have a review of some of the sewer work. This is another area in which we've made great progress, and we passed the sewer user fee in 2015, which provides approximately $2 million per year to address all of the issues with our sanitary sewer system. Since 2014, we've cleaned 300 miles of sewer lines, including every main sewer line. The Vector truck, which is pictured here and purchased in 2015, has been a key piece of equipment that has enabled us to do some of that work. Essentially, the Vector truck is able to suck sewage and other things out that might be blocking the sewer lines, and to push water, detergents, and root deterrent chemicals through the sewer lines to help keep them clear. We've also started using smart cover monitoring devices and a GIS mapping system to better manage the sewer system. I'll say more about this technology a little bit later, but all of this has allowed us to reduce sanitary sewer overflows from a high of 8 in 2014 to just 1 in the past year, and hopefully, with this continued work, none going forward. I also want to just give a quick update about an overview of some of the bridge work in the city. So as you know, the bridges spanning the San Gabriel Trench for the railroad tracks have been completed, and these bridges have now been decorated with elements from San Gabriel's history that help to tell our story. Here, the bridge at San Gabriel Boulevard has hula hoops that commemorates the Whammo factory that was once nearby and here in the city. And the bridges at Ramona and Mission have decorations in honor of the Native American roots of our community. These physical reminders celebrate our past and help tell our story. In addition, on the practical side, it's amazing that the undergrounding of the tracks and the bridges themselves help eliminate an estimated 1,700 hours of commute time a day for the nearly 90,000 motorists that cross these bridges each day. So it's a huge improvement for the community and the region. And I want to thank Councilwoman Costanzo and past council members for being involved in that for so many years to make sure that it comes to fruition. Welcome. Finally, the Alhambra Wash Bridge on Del Mar, south of Valley Boulevard, is expected to be completed by the end of this year. This bridge is being built with funds from the city of San Gabriel, LA County, and the Federal Highway Bridge Program to replace the 83-year-old bridge that was there before. When completed, the new bridge will widen the sidewalks and vehicle lanes across the wash to provide greater vehicular and pedestrian safety. The next strategic plan area is economic development. We have a lot to celebrate in this area as well, and I want to recognize and thank again Armine Chaparian and her staff in the Community Development Department for all of their hard work and helping us to bring some of these goals to fruition. They work very hard every day on some of the city's most complex issues, so please give them a round of applause as well. We're fortunate in San Gabriel to have a vibrant and unique mix of businesses that form our business community and are a big part of the story that we need to keep telling. Of course, the Hilton and Sheraton hotels are big parts of our community and bring people from all over the world to enjoy our great weather and our numerous Southern California attractions. But we also have mainstay businesses like the San Gabriel Valley Medical Center, which is the single largest employer in the city, and numerous other medical offices in our medical facility zone, with more medical offices soon coming on the horizon. We have authentic and original restaurants that are in some ways the envy of LA County and our surrounding communities. Here, establishments like Newport Seafood, Polciano's, Golden Deli, Mien, Casa Calderon, Benten Ramen, Petrillo's, Sanongdang, Claro's Market, Nomad Ice Pops, Bopomorfo Cafe, and many others come to mind. So you can see we have such a rich and diverse, unique collection of restaurants. And incidentally, Bopomuafua, which is just up the street, is owned in part by the creator of Wong Fu Productions, which is a huge Asian American social media influencer and content creator with over 3.5 million followers. All of these businesses are part of our story and part of who we are as a community. They provide the kind of unique and authentic food, products, and experiences that people today crave. In essence, they are each destinations, and people travel from all over the county to visit these places. I've even had council members from other cities and assembly members from other parts of the county tell me they're here almost every week to attend an event or to dine at one of our restaurants. I really don't think it's overselling it when I say that we've become a foodie haven and that this is one of the great strengths of our local economy. And this is why the city of San Gabriel, we're once again one of the finalists for the Eddie Awards. We just learned about this a couple weeks ago, so it's another feather in our cap and a recognition of our hard work. For those that don't know what the Eddie Awards are, it's a very prestigious award given by the LA Economic Development Corporation, recognizing the most business-friendly city among all of LA County's 88 cities each year. It's kind of like the Oscars for economic development work in LA County. There's a big city category and a small city category, and this is our second year in a row as a finalist in the small city category, and I think it's our third or fourth time being a finalist in the past 5 or 6 years. So hopefully we'll be able to take home the prize this year, and that announcement will be made in November. For the remainder of this economic development portion, I'll highlight a few of the current major developments in the city and start the conversation about the future of the Mission District. So a quick update here on the Curio Hotel. This is the project currently under construction on the northwest corner of Valley and Del Mar. Curio is the higher-end boutique brand of the Hilton chain, which allows a little bit greater flexibility in the design and management of the hotel. For example, the Hotel Del Coronado in Coronado and the Hotel La Jolla in La Jolla are both Curio hotels. When fully complete, this development will be a complete mixed-use project with the hotel on the western portion, 85 residential units on the eastern portion, and over 55,000 square feet of retail and restaurant space on the first 2 floors. The hotel itself is tentatively to be called the Jordan and will feature 222 rooms and, again, tentatively, themes from San Gabriel's agricultural past. And this, again, will help to tell our story because the San Gabriel mission here was one of the wealthiest missions of the original missions, in large part because agriculture here grew so well. The Rubio Village, we just did the groundbreaking ceremony for the Rubio Village. Senator Rubio was there as well, and we'll have to come up with projects for all of our other local elected officials so we can all have our own village. This is the former bowling alley site, as many of you know, and it really has a long history and story of its own. The bowling alley itself had been vacant for over 20 years, and the current project actually began in 2004 and was originally entitled in 2007. So 15 years after this project began, it's finally in building plan check, as I understand it, and moving towards construction. You can see that the design of this project follows in the mission-style architecture, and this formerly blighted parcel of land will, fingers crossed, soon have a new project that includes 150 residential units with 12 affordable units, 16,500 square feet of commercial space, and some open space amenities for the residents. Here's a big one. Many of you have inquired about what is happening at the San Gabriel Nursery site, where the nursery used to have some of its growing facilities. So the formal application has not yet been submitted, so we can't say too much, but it will likely be a mixed-use project that will feature a couple of Main Street anchor businesses on this roughly 4-acre site. Notably, I hope to continue working with the Yoshimura family and the developer to include a small memorial to the family, to acknowledge and celebrate their contributions to the community, and to honor and remember their history. Let me tell you a little bit about why this is so important to me. Because who here knows that the San Gabriel Nursery was first called the Mission Nursery, and it was founded by Fred and Mitoko Yoshimura in 1923. So yes, it's coming up on its 100th birthday, and I think this project is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to include a memorial to tell their story, which is a really significant part of our story. The Yoshimuras were civically engaged as members of the community and the San Gabriel Chamber of Commerce. They were among the first florists in the area, with some of their stock eventually seeding what is now Descanso Gardens. During World War II, the Yoshimura family was separated from each other and interned during that dark era in our national history. So even while their son, Hayao Yoshimura, was drafted and served in the United States Army during that war, the family would eventually be reunited at the Gila River internment camp in Arizona. And after the war, the Yoshimuras returned to San Gabriel to start over and rebuild their business at the current site where the San Gabriel Nursery is now. They even helped other Japanese American families who were also coming out of the camps by providing them with food and shelter at this very site until those families could support themselves. So you see, the Yoshimura family story and all of these stories are part of our story. And I think it would be amazing to include a memorial as part of this project to tell our story. We can't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do so. Equally amazing would be to do all of this and to tell the story with a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the project, coinciding with the nursery's 100-year anniversary. Again, we can honor the past and move forward into the future by taking care of both here in the present. So that's a tough story to follow, but we're going to try to do that here with a preview of the Mission District feasibility study. This is a part of the presentation where I'd like to begin the community conversation about what the future of our Mission District will be. We engaged AECOM to do a comprehensive economic analysis and evaluation of the Mission District to see what kind of unrealized potential we might be able to capture here in our historic core. The city owns quite a few of the assets here in the Mission District, including this beautiful and historic Mission Playhouse where we are right now, the parking lot next door, and a number of other parcels that are here. This market feasibility study includes site evaluations and economic analyses to help give us a sense of what's possible. We've heard from many community members, including some of you in this room right now, that there's a feeling of untapped potential here with all of our history and culture to make the Mission District a more of a vibrant destination. And it can be more of a platform to tell our story. So speaking for myself, I could see a scaled down version of State Street in Santa Barbara, or a smaller and perhaps less commercial version of the Mission District in San Luis Obispo that would bring people here to, of course, shop, eat, and play, but also to learn about and appreciate San Gabriel's and the Mission's rich history as the birthplace of the region. Of course, any new potential project here would be done in a way that respects, honors, and celebrates the Mission and the Mission District. Architecture must be in the Mission-style design, and this Mission Playhouse will continue to be the centerpiece of the district. I fully expect that there will be many more community conversations about this after we have a chance to digest the results of the study, and the final study will be released and reviewed by the City Council in October, so please stay tuned for future developments. Next initiative in our strategic plan is community engagement. And here I would like to recognize and thank Rebecca Perez, our Community Services and I think Interim Mission Playhouse Director, and all of the staff of Community Services in the Mission Playhouse. Really, actually, we need to thank all of the departments for all of their work and doing such a great job of bringing our community engagement programs to life. You can't have all of these events without the whole team contributing. So our community engagement programs are designed to bring together people to celebrate our diversity and to build bridges within the community. And they also help to tell our story, because they tell everybody else who we are and what we celebrate. Here are the new events since 2014. As many of you know, we've started a number of new community events. These include the Summer Night Series, which recently ended for the year with a rocking and jam-packed crowd just outside here in the Mission Playhouse Plaza on Luis Cruz Beltran. These events also include Dumplings and Beer, which is coming up next Friday on October 4th. And quick plug that there are still wristbands for the event available for pre-sale online by today. So make sure as soon as you're done here, or I don't mind if you're distracted while I'm speaking, go ahead and head over to Eventbrite and search for Dumplings and Beer. They include all of the other events you see here, like Fall Fun Festival, Lunar New Year Festival, Surf's Up, Cinco de Mayo Mercado, and Fairview Gone. And of course, we also continue to do the many long-standing community events that are San Gabriel traditions, such as the holiday tree lighting ceremony, the extraordinary pancake breakfast with Kiwanis, the 4th of July and Kids Day Parade, National Night Out, headed up by our police department, and of course, Los Pobladores, the Walk to LA, and La Fiesta, which the mission does as its annual birthday celebration. Incidentally, this year marks the mission's 248th birthday, and I understand the mission is planning a number of upcoming celebrations to commemorate the upcoming 250th birthday. So we definitely look forward to participating and supporting those as well. These award-winning events bring the community together and draw people from all over LA County to help celebrate all that San Gabriel has to offer. And new this year, something I'd like to highlight is Camp SG, thanks to the initiative and efforts of Police Chief Eugene Harris and the police department. So please give them a round of applause. So this was a 5-day camp at Camp Tatapochan, which was done in collaboration with the YMCA of the West San Gabriel Valley. And I'd like to recognize Valerie Gomez, who's the executive director of the YMCA. Thank you for being here. So this year, Camp SG hosted 20 students from Jefferson Middle School. They enjoyed 5 days of activities and fun designed to provide mentorship and to teach them team building and empowerment skills. The goal for next year is to expand the program to have a mix of at-risk and non-at-risk youth. And it's worthy to note that Camp SG was 100% funded by private donations and by the time, energy of the volunteers from the San Gabriel Police Department. That was right on cue, because my script says here to please give them a round of applause. But thank you seriously for making Camp SG a reality and bringing it to our community to benefit and support our youth. Another thing I'd like to highlight under community engagement is the upcoming census in 2020. The census is important because it reaffirms who we are as a community. The data is used for so many different purposes, from simply understanding and serving our residents, to the allocation of federal, state, and local funds and resources, to regional planning for housing and transportation, and for federal and state redistricting for voting purposes, and so much more. In short, the census also tells our story. Many efforts are already underway, and we have our first complete count committee meeting with community partners this Thursday. Our goal is to ensure that we have a fair, accurate, and inclusive count, and our complete count committee will include partners such as the San Gabriel Unified and Garvey school districts, local nonprofits like La Casa and AYC, and religious institutions and community groups here in San Gabriel. If you or your organization would like to participate in our complete count committee, please find one of us after the presentation and let us know. We've adopted the campaign slogan of "We Count SG," and in part it's because this is a call to the community to stand up and to be counted. We need to make sure that we are representing ourselves so that all levels of government and the private sector understands who we are and can therefore better address our needs. We're assured that the census data is 100% secure and confidential, and thankfully the citizenship question will not be on the census, so it's safe for anyone and everyone to respond. Our outreach materials will be provided in 4 languages: English, Spanish, Chinese, and Vietnamese, to coincide with the languages we must use for voting purposes under the Federal Voting Rights Act. And notably, this census will be the first time that it can be completed online, so that we will hopefully make it easier and more convenient for people to respond, and so we can get that fair, accurate, and inclusive count. So please be on the lookout for our We Count SG materials. This 2020 census will officially begin around March of next year. Next initiative in our strategic plan is service excellence, and we're working hard to make service excellence a cornerstone of the San Gabriel experience. Here I want to highlight a few of the new outstanding programs in the police department under the leadership again of Chief Harris, and provide a review of what has become a San Gabriel tradition in our CERT program. Many of you are already aware of some of these programs, but I think it's worthwhile to take a few moments to highlight these efforts. Chief Harris and the SGPD have started the MET, or Mental Health Evaluation Team. This team of specially trained individuals is called out whenever there's a need to evaluate or address mental health issues. They actively engage the homeless population in the city and can provide food, clothing, shelter, services, and referrals to more service and resources that are provided by LA County. In line with what we see throughout the region, we have seen an increase in our homeless population over the past couple years, and the Met team is a key component of how we are addressing the issue, along with other efforts that we are undertaking with LA County. The SCET, or School Community Engagement Team, is another newer program in the police department that takes the place of our older school resource officer program. Under the SCET program, actually, every single officer in SGPD is a school resource officer, and the team leads are housed at the San Gabriel Unified School District office. This allows for much better communication and collaboration with SGUSD and faster deployment in the event that there's any incident that threatens the safety of our children while they're at school. And I can attest to this because just last week there was a lockdown due to, I believe it was an escapee, and it was resolved very quickly, but all the schools were notified, placed on lockdown, and made sure that all of their students were kept safe. And once resolved, everything was back to normal. So we appreciate all of those efforts, making sure that we don't put our children in harm's way when they send them to school. The SCET team also does active presentations, engagements, and when necessary, interventions, and helps our children stay safe by staying away from drugs, guns, and gangs. Two more newer programs by the SGPD are the K-9 teams and the Marshall. Sue is our super volunteer and community champion for the K-9 teams. But also, we also want to highlight our Marshall Satellite Police Station. Thank you. So we have two K-9 units, Officer Barada and K-9 Eddie, and Officer Puente and K-9 Bentley. As Chief Harris puts it, our K-9 units are force multipliers, and they are specially trained, one in detecting narcotics and one in detecting explosives. They undergo rigorous training and have already been extremely helpful in numerous areas, including in suspect apprehension. In the 2018-2019 fiscal year, the K-9 units had 69 deployments, and they've been a really great, and as you can see, popular addition to the SGPD team. They are definitely the most popular folks on Instagram within the city of San Gabriel. I wish I could boast that many followers. So another new initiative by the police department serves as an example of service excellence is the Marshall Satellite Police Station. We did the ribbon cutting for this new station just last month. It's located in one of the formerly empty rooms at the old Marshall Elementary School site and wouldn't have been possible without the collaboration and cooperation of the Garvey School District. The station serves as the police department's traffic bureau and also houses some administrative functions. It's the first ever San Gabriel police station south of Valley Boulevard and allows the police to be more accessible and responsive in that underserved part of the community. So please give Chief Harris another round of applause and the San Gabriel Police Department for all of these efforts. They really are examples of service excellence here in San Gabriel. The last example I wanted to highlight is our CERT team. The CERT program is conducted by our San Gabriel Fire Department. Many of you here are graduates of this program and already know about it. It was started in 2010 and is now being offered 4 times a year. CERT is a 4-week class that trains community members in basic emergency response and disaster preparedness skills. In essence, the program trains us as regular civilians about what to do in the event of emergency or major disaster and how to help our first responders and neighbors in such an event. Since 2010, the CERT program has produced 130 graduates who will also all be helpful assets to the community in the event of an emergency. So please give Fire Chief Wallace and the San Gabriel Fire Department a big round of applause for all that they do, including this valuable CERT program. New resource development. Last but not least on our strategic plan is new resource development. And under this initiative, we seek to identify and secure external funding sources like state and federal grants, hint, hint, Senator Rubio, and to consistently improve organizational efficiency by using technology and current best practices. Most notably, we've been extremely successful in recent years in obtaining grant money to help improve our parks. Much of this is the result of the hard work and leadership of Rebecca Perez and her team. Yes, woohoo. Please. Earlier this year in March, we built a new playground at Smith Park in just one day, thanks to a grant from Kaboom and the CarMax Foundation and a partnership with the Asian Youth Center. Thank you, Michelle. Hundreds of volunteers from Kaboom, CarMax, AYC, the city, and the community showed up to accomplish this Herculean task. The new playground looks great and is well utilized and replaces an old, outdated playground that was frankly becoming a little bit of a hazard. The Marshall Community Park was completed last year and made possible with a $4.68 million grant under Prop 84. This was again a collaboration with the Garvey School District. It's located on the old Marshall Elementary School site and is the result of years of initiative and persistence by Rebecca, our Community Services Department, and our Public Works Department. So this year, we're currently applying for funding under Prop 68 to renovate the pool, dressing rooms, tennis courts, and bathrooms at Smith Park. All of these were identified as high priority needs by the community during the engagement for our recently completed Parks Master Plan. And I can personally attest to the need for new dressing rooms and bathrooms at Smith Park. The grant application is in its very early stages, and I'm confident that Rebecca and her team will put our best foot forward to compete for those funds. Another item to celebrate is that we just learned last month that where we are right now, the beautiful and historic Mission Playhouse, is now recognized and placed on the National Register of Historic Places. So the Mission Playhouse now joins La Laguna de San Gabriel, which was placed on a national register in 2017, thanks in large parts to the efforts of the Friends of La Laguna. And being on the National Register of Historic Places adds certain protections and adds recognition and significance to these historic assets. It also makes them eligible for a greater array of funding sources in the way of additional public and private grant opportunities. In addition, achieving these state and national recognitions helps to tell our story and who we are and what we have to offer. I wanted to highlight these recognitions because they're additional examples of our community honoring the past while looking forward to the future by taking care of both here in the present. And one example of taking care of the future is our use of technology under the leadership of Public Works Director Greg DeVink and the staff of the Public Works Department. We are now for the first time using GIS to map all of our streets and sewers to be able to better monitor and manage our street and sewer projects. We're using smart cover monitors, which are monitors located underneath the manhole covers at some of our key sewer hotspots. These smart cover monitors provide us with real-time data on sewer levels that allow us to detect and prevent sewer overflow issues and to rapidly respond if any sewer overflow issues do occur. And last but not least, I'm informed that we are looking at piloting a program next year to use a rubberized asphalt, or rather a rubberized asphalt coating that may be able to extend the useful life of moderate condition streets at a small fraction of the cost of full reconstruction. Vision for the future. So I finally wanted to take a few minutes to provide a glimpse of just a couple of the upcoming projects over the next few years. Many of you are aware of the need for and the plans for a new police station. This is a project that has already been over 15 years in the making. Design of the new police station is complete, and preparations for the construction of the new police station are complete with the moving of the Public Works Department to the new Public Works facility on Grand Avenue. However, as you can see, the project cost is estimated to be $30 million, and there's no funding source yet identified for this project. The design of the new police station does feature 3 times the space of the current police station, and additional enhancements like a community room, a firing range, training facilities, and a new jail holding facility. Some of these amenities, like the firing range, training facilities, and jail cells, have the potential to generate additional revenue by leasing them out to other police departments and external agencies for one-time or short-term use. An item that the City Council is currently considering that may help to solve the funding problem for the new police station and to provide long-term financial stability and security for the city is a potential new sales tax measure of 0.75%. Some cities in the San Gabriel Valley, like Pasadena, Arcadia, and Glendora, have already passed this sales tax measure. Other cities like South Pasadena and Monrovia are already scheduled to have this sales tax measure on their ballots in November. And still more cities like Alhambra and Doherty are considering putting such a sales tax measure on their ballot in March. So why are all of these 0.75-cent sales tax measures being passed and put on ballots right now, you might ask? Well, the reason is that there is a California constitutional limit to the amount of sales tax that may be charged in any given county. In LA County, there's just 0.75 cents left under that cap. So, and we have been warned, some have warned, that if cities do not pass their own measures to capture the remaining sales tax, that the county might do so, in which case each city would only get a small portion of the additional sales tax generated by the measure in that city. So in order to ensure those additional tax dollars remain under local control, many other cities throughout the county have passed or are considering voting on sales tax measures to capture that remaining potential revenue under the cap. Here in San Gabriel, we estimate that the additional revenue would generate about $3 million per year for the city. And we could use that additional revenue to continue to maintain, invest, and protect. We can maintain the city's services and momentum I've just highlighted. We can continue to invest in the community and our streets, sewers, parks, and buildings. And we can continue to protect the community with all of the public safety services and programs conducted by our police and fire departments, like some of the programs that I highlighted earlier. In addition, as I mentioned, such a sales tax measure would certainly help with the new police station and provide long-term financial stability for the city. Next month, the City Council will be considering putting this sales tax measure on the ballot for the March 2020 election. And one last item I'd like to put out there because I think it's important is creating better city signage and landscaping at our city entrances. This is about having nicer city signs and landscaping at each of our major gateways. To new visitors, our streets and streetscapes is like our hair and the clothes that we wear on the first date. So it's about giving a better first impression of the city as residents and visitors come in. And it's about telling our story and about being proud to tell people who we are, where we are, and what we are. Almost all of the neighboring cities have this, telling people, welcome to our city. This is a great place to be. And here you can see a couple examples of the signage and landscaping that demark and announce the Mission District. But we don't have this kind of signage and landscaping to announce the city of San Gabriel as a whole. So I think doing so would foster greater civic pride and sense of ownership among residents and make the city more attractive and appealing to residents, visitors, and businesses alike. This is not something that has yet been formally adopted, and of course, there is no funding yet attached to this. However, I wanted to begin the conversation about this and at least encourage the community to do more in this area to tell our story. In closing, we've accomplished a lot in the past few years, and there are many great things still ahead for our city. We also know that there are still more to be accomplished and that there will be many challenges and obstacles that we'll need to face in the future. But what makes it exciting to be part of the City of San Gabriel team is that we also know that we have a great community, great city staff, great history, and a great future. So I want to thank you again for coming and listening to the State of the City address. I'll be happy to take any questions that you might have. Thank you so much.